Hi everyone, and welcome back to Lady Jane Books. Today I'm doing the book addictions tag. Before we get started, I mentioned in a previous video that I was breaking up my subscriber jazz hand celebration dance. So we already did 80 yesterday, so today we have to do 90 because I hit over 90 subscribers. So without further ado, let us commence with the sacred jazz hands dance. 90. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Woo! 90. 90. 90. 90. But in all seriousness, as always, I am so thankful to each and every one of my subscribers. I cannot tell you what it means to me that you actually choose to follow these videos, and I'm really incredibly thankful for all your views, all your time, and your support. Thank you so much. And now we move into the book addictions tag. So let's dive in. I was tagged by Amaretta by the book, who I will link in the description box. Number 1. What is the longest time you can comfortably go without picking up a book? I'm a big, finicky person, so I can go read 50 books in a week, or I could literally go 10 years without reading anything. There is no in between with Lady Jane at all. I think comfortably about a year, and then I start feeling guilty that I spent a year not reading something. So that's my tipping point, about a year. Number 2, how many books do you carry on your person at a time? This can be physical books or electronic books. I don't carry physical books with me very often because I'm so afraid of them getting damaged, so I don't want to have them spill anything, or I don't want them to fall in a puddle or get ripped up by a dog or something. I don't know, okay? I'm just saying I don't want anything of those things to happen, so I'm not taking any chances. But for ebooks, I have a lot more than I thought I did originally, and I counted about 40 to 50 ebooks approximately, and that includes electronic books, audio books, Nook books, Kindle books, Apple books. I might have a book buying problem. No, I don't. Maybe you do. What? Anyway. So on average, on my electronic devices, I carry about 50 books. Number 3, do you keep every book you buy or receive, or pass them along to somebody who might enjoy them? I keep every book that I like that I bought myself. So if I really, really enjoy a book, it'll stay on my bookshelves. But if I don't enjoy the book, I'll unhaul it at the end of the year. And that's a spoiler alert that you should stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing a 2020 book unhaul relatively soon. So please stay tuned for that. And if it's a book that I receive, I will keep it forever, because that person thought of me, that person put the time and effort to think of something that I would enjoy. So I am never letting that go, ever. Number 4, how long can you stay in a bookshop on a standard visit? I could live there. I could actually live there, yes. But in all seriousness, my family knows how enthusiastic I get about going to bookshops, and so they've strategically limited my time to really peruse. So if I'm with my family, I'll keep it to about an hour, because I want to be respectful of their time and energy. But if it was by myself, I'd be there from open to close. You're not getting rid of Lady Jane. Nope, she'll be in aisle 7. Number 5, how much time a day do you actually spend reading? It really varies for me. I will spend an entire day reading from start to finish, from the moment I wake up till the moment I fall asleep, if I have a free day. But if I wake up and I know my schedule's too busy, I'll skip a couple days. But it kind of ebbs and flows, and I make up for it on my free time. Number 6, where does the task of picking up a book fall on your priority to-do list? It's pretty low. I have a lot of other responsibilities now that I'm kind of on my own. So I'll reserve time, especially in the evenings, for it to wind down. But if I don't get to reading it, it's not like my full day has been in a turmoil. 8. Approximately how many times do you bring up books in conversation? All the time. And it's really awkward because a lot of people I socialize with are not big book people. It makes it a little bit awkward because I'll bring up books that they didn't read or they have no interest in, and then I'm kind of like dead for conversation. But it's also very awkward when I do things like bring up Ted Bundy's biography at the Thanksgiving dinner table with my elderly relatives. Conversation! Oh yeah, I did that. Number 9. What is the biggest book, page count wise, that you have finished reading? It's definitely Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows that I finished reading. However, I am currently reading Stephen King's It, and that has an even bigger page count, so I'm gonna kind of go half and half with this one. Number 10. Is there a book that you just had to get your hands off in any unconventional ways? I lived through the Harry Potter hysteria when the new books would come out and people would be literally like punching each other trying to get the latest novel. And I remember for the very final book, I was traveling, and so I wasn't near any of the bookstores that I normally frequent. And I went to this little tiny, like, sketchy independent bookstore, and I just happened to say, hey, do you guys have like Harry Potter books? And they're like, yeah, here's the ticket. Don't tell anybody we have it, but if you have the ticket, you'll have the book. So they basically like slipped me a ticket for this book. But it's a good thing that they did because I got that book and I read it within a week. Number 11. Is there a book you struggled with because you refused to DNF? I refused to DNF The Winter People, and I totally should have. I really struggled through that book. I tried it about 2 or 3 times before I actually read it the whole time, and I always stalled out on it. So I should have taken that as a sign that this book and me were not meant to be friends, but I stuck with it because evidently commitment is a great thing, and I totally regret it. Number 12. What are 3 of your main bookish goals for 2021? I definitely want to get back into horror. I feel like I've taken a bit of a break from horror because, well, 2021 was scary as heck anyway, so nobody needed to read any horror books because we were all living on a horror book. So I want to get back into that when things calm down. I definitely want to read more new releases. I feel like I've been looking more at older books and things that aren't as popular, so I do want to get into that. And I also want to pick up a Brandon Sanderson book. I've heard a lot about him through the booktube community, so I definitely think that I need to start getting in on this bandwagon and seeing what all the fuss is about. So I want to read a Brandon Sanderson book in 2021. Number 13. Have you ever had the privilege of converting someone into a reader? I don't believe so, but I have had the privilege of making people read my favorite book, Revival by Stephen King. Funny story, I talked to David from David's Book Reviews to talk about some Stephen King books, and I kept on talking about Revival, which I will never shut up about because Revival is my favorite book ever. And he's been reading all the Stephen King books in order of publication date, and so he was very far away from Revival because Revival is a relatively new novel. So evidently, to get me to shut up about Revival, he read it and reviewed it and really enjoyed it. I will link his video in the description below if you are interested in viewing it, but I will never shut up about Revival. I love that book. I think everyone needs to read it, and I think it is one of the best works of literature that I've ever read. So it was so cool that he actually read Revival because I insistently nagged about it. Very cool. Thank you so much again, David. And number 14, describe what books mean to you in 5 words. Comfort, education, joy, relaxation, and escape. And now I'm going to tag some people. I tag Kayla Lenzen, Holly by Golly Books, which, by the way, isn't that the best name ever? I just love saying that name out loud. It's so fun. Lana Ex Libris, and Very Literary Carrie. And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And now, let's get on with it. I was tagged by Almaretta by the Book, who I will link in the description box. Thank her very much for... Number 1, what is the longest time that you can go without a book? Number 9, what is the biggest book, page count wise, that you have finished reading? So it makes conversations a little bit awkward, especially if I bring up The Phantom Prince, My Life with Ted Bundy, up during the Thanksgiving dinner table with my elderly relatives. So you should see me bringing up Ted Bundy's book like... We've been making conversation.